Hey everyone, welcome back to the Parade Planners podcast. We took a little break just like the Leafs did. It was a pretty boring week without any Leafs games, so at least we're recording now. We got those two Calgary games, which were there's a lot to take it from that. One win, one loss. A lot of injuries. People come back from injuries. We had Galchenyuk come up. We had the whole goalie drama. Well, let's start with everyone's thoughts. What do you guys think about that two-game series against the Calgary Flames?
Personally, I liked the way we played, but the first game, all on Freddie there, he should have won. We should have won that game if we got like a couple of saves. The fourth goal, I don't care. He should have had that. The first goal, he still should have had. I think he should have had all of them to be honest. If he was, what he's saying, he's not healthy, but I think he should rest him if he's not healthy. Like he shouldn't be forcing him to play games. Um, Yeah, I think Campbell solidified him. Not solidified, but like he, yeah, he didn't solidify it, but he's gonna run with the range right now. I think Keith will run with Campbell right now just because of his hot start. The team played well both the game. They held them to a couple. He did held them to 18 shots on Friday, and they minimized the chances on Saturday as well.
Yeah, I liked the way they played in the second of the back to back. The major difference was obviously Frederick Anderson versus Jack Campbell, but I know we're going to talk about that later on. But like another thing was we were getting like pretty unlucky on Friday. Matthews was taking like a bunch of shots and they were hitting the posts. He was fanning on a couple. Like
Yeah,
usually he
tons
gets
of
those in,
posts and missed
right?
shots.
Yeah.
I
So like
think
if
Matthews
those
hit like
went
four
in,
posts
yeah,
in those two games.
you could tell he was pissed. Like
Oh yeah, he broke his stick. Did you see that shot? Like, I think he hit
Oh,
another
he
post,
like
or like the
punched.
one where the net was basically open and it just rang off the outside of the post. Like he went back to the bench and just snapped his stick.
Yeah, he
Like,
got
yeah,
so
I was
pissed he like
screaming.
punched it.
and you
But
don't
man,
you don't see that often from him. Like he's usually pretty chill, pretty cool about things. But I mean, I
And it's
think
nice
it's
to
good
see
to
those
see that
emotions,
because, yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to
I
see that
agree
because
with.
you can tell like when he gets frustrated, he goes off, and he hasn't scored in a while from being injured and missing games and kind of like coming back, but not being able to shoot much. So I think he's gonna bounce back. He's gonna get hot again.
Yeah, 100% agree with Negan there. He when he gets frustrated, he shows up and he bound to show up on the score sheet one way or another there.
yeah, like it's only a matter of time. Like Matthew's not gonna stay like this cold for so long, and it's
Yeah,
like you guys said,
exactly.
he's not cold. He's just being unlucky. Like he's hitting a lot of posts. He's getting a lot of like Dominic Hasek level saves from the other goalie. But yeah, like I'm happy with these two games. Obviously the first one sucked, but like again, Freddie can't put up like a what like 750 save percentage and expect the team to win in front of him. Like what was the score? 4-3. So it doesn't matter who's in net. You can't have to score 5 goals to win a game. You shouldn't have to score 5 goals to win a game. Like and Saturday night was clear that they won 2-0 with a good goalie behind them. Like yeah, like they still made defensive mistakes and stuff, but which team in the league is gonna be perfect and not give up a turnover in their own end? Like even Tampa gives
Tampa
up
Bay.
turnovers. Okay, well yeah, but like most teams in the league do give up turnovers in their own end. They end up giving up two on
Yeah,
ones.
there's
That's just
always
how
gonna be
hockey's played.
turnovers.
Exactly, right? And it's up to the goalie to make a save. That's why like it's a save. Like you have to stop the puck. You can't like we gotta just stop blaming the D and start blaming Freddie. But like he is injured and everything. And the
Yeah, I
thing with
mean that's the
Campbell
key
is
to me is
yeah,
like I he's injured. But like, so how, the thing is like, how bad is he injured? Because he was still playing. So I mean, is he injured to the point where like he can't play properly? Because if that's the case, then I think he just shouldn't be playing. Um, if he's injured but he can play, then I mean, then that's still on him. So like, I think we're gonna see in the coming weeks, like if he can get back healthy, what he's got left and stuff like that. The interesting thing to me though is that they brought, I think it was Ian Scott. They put him on the taxi squad today. Um, so I don't. That could be nothing, and they're just bringing him up to practice with the team over the next few days. But it could also mean that Freddie's going on like IR or something, and they need three goalies up at a time. Not really sure.
Or what if Freddie's getting traded?
Or yeah, or Freddie's on the block. But I mean that would mean that there's a trade like happening right now because the transactions would have to match.
Freddie and a
Okay.
first round pick for Ricard Raquel.
Down.
Okay. So we'll get to the trade talk here, but I'm just
I
gonna.
know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I'm just gonna bring up some stats here. So Frederick Anderson last five starts by goals against 3-5-3-4-4. So he's allowing a lot more goals, which is kind of concerning. Um, Also, Anderson is 39th out of 71 in even strength goal save expected among goalies 50 or more Fenwick against, and he's 51 out of 51 in shorthanded goals against expected. So take those as you will, but that's really concerning because he's not saving anything shorthanded. He's allowing the weak shorthanded goals against. Um, in his last six games up against his last six games until Calgary, he had a .862 save percentage in those last six games. Um, and when Leafs lost six of the last seven games, the team save percentage was at 8.856. So you see these trends. They're losing because of their goaltending. They're not losing because of the mediocre play, but they're having to fight back in game, which is not a strategy for success. Yeah. So those are the stats I'm gonna read out right there.
But like on the bright side, we know that it's not the Leafs that are shitty. It's just Frederick Anderson, right? And his injuries. Like
What a
we can't.
line.
What do you mean?
I'm gonna make
It's
that the
not the
title of the
Leafs that are
episode.
shitty, it's just Frederick Anderson. My goodness.
That's the title of the episode, and I'm gonna put the Negan's name right beside it.
Oh god,
Yeah, put it in quotes and then
yo,
put his name right after.
this guy's gonna track me down and like beat the shit out of me.
100% he is.
Nah, but
The guy from the PS5 commercial that says "I am Frederick Anderson" is
Yeah.
gonna come beat the shit out of
oh
me.
my god, I
That kid
saw
is
that.
gonna come beat you up.
I'm like, yo, this is the
Yep.
worst timing to play that ad.
Yeah. It was a joke. They're like some people on Twitter like why is he controlling Frederick Anderson? They should stop letting him control him because it's a video game, right? So that's the most funniest shit ever.
Yo, it's just
Yeah,
so
ever
sad
since
because
that
they
kid
play that
started playing
commercial.
Frederick Anderson, Freddie's been bad. So, I mean, I think we should just take away his PlayStation. That should
Dude,
fix
straight
things.
up, and they play that commercial like 5 or 6 times throughout the whole game as well. Like maybe that's causing his bad luck.
I think we solved it. We should email Kyle Dubas and tell him what's going on.
Just at him on Twitter. He's pretty active
Yeah,
So
on there.
true.
yeah, so my dad watched the games with me. He's like, "Why? If you guys are so upset, then why don't you guys email Cardu?" I'm like, "How am I supposed to email them? I don't have his email."
I'm sure we could find it.
All right, then
But
Negan,
yo, I
back to
feel
your
bad for.
back to your thoughts, bro.
Okay. Yeah, so on the bright side, the Leafs, they're playing well, right? Like they're not playing like ass. Like last season when we were playing bad, we were losing. This season, like we're still playing well, and it's our goaltending. And on the bright side, like it's not Frederick Anderson's fault entirely because of injuries, but like we can't make excuses this year. Every year there's like some excuse that we put out, and like other fans are like, "Oh, here we go again. They got another excuse coming." Right? So like if we lose in the playoffs this year because of goaltending and we have like this as an excuse, like Frederick Anderson was injured, I'm telling you, like people are gonna jump on us. They're gonna be like, the Leafs are just shit. They're just gonna say that.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, yeah, you're probably right.
you're probably right there, but the thing is, if you're not getting any goaltending, then what's gonna save you? Like if your defense makes a mistake and it's going like that right into your net, then what are you supposed to do? Like it's like back like even a weak shot could go in and be like, oh, it's Freddie's it's the defense's fault. Like there's Freddie supporters out there that be like, oh, it's defense's fault. It's the goalie job to make a save. That's why it's called a save. It's to save the puck from going into the back of the
Bro,
net. That's the
every
goalie's job,
goalie
right?
is gonna have high danger chances against them. Every
Yeah.
single goalie. Like, I'm not saying Freddie has to save every single shot, but like I said before, the Leafs shouldn't have to score 5 goals to win a game every single time Freddie's in the net.
Yeah,
So
I think it's
yeah, so
clear. I think it's clear at this point that like our defense is better, and it's not, it's not the defense's fault at this point. It's just goaltending. But I don't know, like when Freddie came here and he was like the first couple of years he was here, he was playing really well. Like he was one of the top goalies in the league. And there were games that like he stole for us, or at least he kept us in when we didn't deserve to be in them. And so it doesn't seem like he can do that anymore, but it's not like we really need that. At this point, with better defense and better team play and stuff, like we really just need an average goalie.
That's what
So
I'm
like
saying. Like,
I
yeah,
I
if
think
Freddie
that
played
Freddie can
average,
get
there would
back
be
to
no
that. Like
problems.
I think he can get back to that, but I don't know, he hasn't really shown it since like
Yeah, we don't have
all the way
time to
back to
waste.
last season if we're talking about being consistent.
Like we don't have time to waste, like waiting on him getting back to average, right?
Yeah.
Either Kyle Dubas and Sheldon Keefe need to make a statement or make a move to clarify that, like either by making Jack Campbell the number one starter or by like trading for another goalie, right?
So here, yeah, what I think about that, I think if Freddie is still able to play, so like if he's not that injured, if he's not going on to IR, if he's still able to play, I think he gets one of these next two starts this week, and that'll basically be his like last shot at keeping the crease. Um, if he is injured and goes on IR, then obviously it's Jack Campbell and we see what he can do. My issue is though that like there really are no good options out there in terms of replacements or upgrades that we can make now.
okay. I'm gonna go back to the Calgary game. The first game. So the high danger scoring chances in the first were 8-0 in favor of the Leafs, and the score was 3-2 in favor of the Flames. That says it all right there, cause he's not making any saves whatsoever, and that's really concerning to be a fan of a team that's not getting any goaltending whatsoever. Going back to your point, Nadeem, getting a goaltender, it's gonna be harder for them to come over because the quarantine for 2 weeks. Um, that affects it like a lot for a goalie because they need to be in rhythm when they come in. Let's say if we acquire, like for example, we acquire Darcy Kemp or even Jonathan Kirk out of LA. Um, it's gonna be harder for them to come into rhythm because they're gonna be 2 week quarantine and stuff like that. Even
Yeah, and then plus you don't actually know if they're going to play any better than Anderson is playing or that Campbell's
yes, but
playing, for example,
yeah, so
you know?
yeah, because especially because they're gonna have to get into rhythm in practice and then be
Yeah,
like you have chemistry with your defense to play the puck out of the zone and stuff like that. Too.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be
So like
harder
it's a
too.
big risk and like I'm assuming that any deal where we bring in a new starting goalie means that we're taking Freddie out and trading him away to make the cap space work.
Unless
So, I mean, then you're playing with just Jack Campbell for 2 weeks. If he goes down or gets injured again, you're running with Hutchinson and
Michael
Ian Scott as your duo. You know what I mean?
or
Like,
you
Okay,
this
wait,
is
wait, wait,
really
or
tough to do.
wait.
running
Let
with
me mention.
or running with Babylon or someone like that too, right? So
Okay, wait.
who okay, go
You
ahead.
guys actually, one second, let me mention something. You guys actually want to win a playoff series, right? So how are you gonna take Anderson to the playoffs? Has he had that success to back up his career, like like his profile? You can't
Wait,
take
are
him
I
to
you
the
telling me
playoffs.
Jonathan
I
Quick at
agree,
a
bro.
higher cap hit is going to be better than
No,
him?
no,
you
I'm not saying
you
get.
you
You run
make you make them
Campbell.
you make them
You run
between
Campbell
half.
and Freddie 1A 1B. Like that's my solution. Right now, you just
Yeah,
go
I
1A
think that's the
1B,
solution.
and
I
whoever's
don't
hot
think
just
you need to bring in a new
continues.
person.
Yeah, like just run with Campbell as your 1A, Freddie as your 1B, and Freddie's injured. Sure, let's say like 3 weeks from now, you give him 2 weeks off, you run with Campbell for 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, Freddie comes back, you give him 1B, and you split the games or give it like 60-40 to Campbell, and whoever's hot going into the playoffs, they get the games. That's it.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do. Like, it makes no sense, and it's just way too hard to bring in a new goalie at this point. But
But
I
like,
mean,
what if Campbell gets injured?
unless Freddie, that's the thing, right? Like, if Campbell's injured, then you have to go back to Freddie and just see what happens. If Freddie and Campbell are injured before the deadline, then I think Dubas absolutely makes a move for a new goalie. Because at that point, you're just wasting the season if you go in with like Hutchinson starting the playoffs.
I feel like they need to make a trade now for a goalie.
Yeah, but
That's
here's
what
the
that's what
thing.
I
I
do.
just
Here's the
don't
thing.
think the upside's there. Like
That's
you
what I'm
can't.
saying. Like any
There's
goalie that's
nobody
like
there that
good,
you know for sure is going to be better.
exactly. Like any goalie you know is better, most likely that team is not willing to give them up. Any goalie that's on
Yeah.
the market is probably playing around Frederick Anderson's level, and you're getting them hoping that they bounce back. So instead of paying
The only
assets to hope for a goalie, why don't you just hope Frederick's okay? And a lot of times,
the
goalies
the
emerge out
only
of
goalie
nowhere.
I would take, the only goalie I would take is John Gibson, and making the numbers work on that because he makes like 6 point something million would be tough. But that's probably the only goalie I would make a trade for because we get him past next year, so it solves
That's
our goalie problem. And you know he's like a good starter. His numbers aren't great this season, but that's just because Anaheim sucks.
that's
So I think you
who
could
like
count
I
on
was
him
gonna
to be
mention.
better.
That's who I was gonna mention. I'm like, yo, you can get John Gibson, and he's
Yeah,
like, like,
that's the only goalie that I
yeah,
think would make any sense to
the
make a
only
trade
option.
for this season. Otherwise, I just don't think the upside's there because
I
there's
don't
way too much at risk sending Freddie
What's he
out
gonna
and then
cost
getting an
though?
unknown back.
What's Gibson
personally,
gonna
Bro, they're
cost?
already
per,
they're already
personally,
asking for like 10 first rounders for Raquel.
That's what I'm
What are they
saying.
gonna
They
ask for
want Robertson
Gibson?
and a first for Raquel. They're gonna ask for our whole
Yeah, okay,
lineup just for
I
Gibson.
mean, that's ridiculous. Robertson is like arguably better than Raquel now, or in at least a couple years.
Oh, like hundred
personally,
percent.
no, personally, I wouldn't make the trade for a goalie because, like, looking at it now, the 2 week quarantine affects a lot of things. Cause a goalie needs his rhythm as soon as he comes in. If he doesn't come in, the trade the whole bust. Like even if they're UFA, the trade the bust because he's not gonna perform whatsoever, right? That's the only problem I have because goalies are weird. They're voodoo. That's that's what it is in the NHL.
Hey,
Cause look
Discard,
at
don't you play goalie?
I play goalie and I'm voodoo too. Sometimes they're good, sometimes I'm horrible. It is what it is. I'm not
He
consistent
doesn't even
whatsoever.
know if he's a good goalie. So how are we supposed to
Yeah.
know if other people are a good goalie?
No, I like
Discard, you
even
you gotta be able to read these goalies, bro. We need you to be our goalie expert.
Yeah, I thought you were
no,
like
I can't.
our
I
goalie
I
guy.
I can be goalie, but it's not that simple. Like goalies are voodoo. Like even people even guys like why do you think goalies don't get drafted in the first round? It's because they don't like goalie only Vasilevsky I've seen in previous history and like past history it's been a good like good goalie. K Price too, but those are given. Like they're really good goaltenders. Guys like Malcolm Subban have been drafted in the first round. They've been bust. He's never been like an excellent starter or like even a subpar starter for Chicago, for Vegas, or for whoever he's played with. He's been a subpar starter. So the thing is, goalies are voodoo in the NHL, and you can't rely on them after 2 week quarantine to come in and be sharp.
Yo, can I say one thing about Campbell? So how old is he? Like 28, 29 or something? Like I honestly, he hasn't been given a shot at being an NHL starter. Like he wasn't given a shot in LA. I think the only time he had like a gig was I think Quick was injured and he played pretty good during that time. And then even now, he's only played 10 games in total for Toronto and 4 this year. Okay? Like that's a super short sample size, but he was a first round pick, which again, just like Jaskaran said, you don't know, but he was a first round pick. He came in with a lot of potential. He's never gotten a true shot at being the starter. And then I also want to say, we're talking about goalies being voodoo. I want to give you two examples. Dominic Hasek and Tim Thomas. Those are two of arguably the best goalies when they were at their prime. Tim Thomas was a monster. Dominic Hasek is the greatest goalie of all time, like in my opinion. It could be Raw or Broder, whatever. But Dominic Hasek is one of the best goalies of all
Are you
time.
forgetting about Vesa Toskala and Jonathan Bernier?
Okay, sorry. My my
Can you
my,
put
my
some
condition.
respect on their names, please?
Other than those two, Hasek is one of the
Thank you.
best goalies. And
Thank you.
both of those guys started their careers like I think around 30, 32. So who's to say that Jack Campbell can't come in and rip it. Like even I think
Okay,
Anton
we
Khudobin.
have our second title of the podcast. Jack Campbell equals Dominic Hasek.
It's gonna be
I
a
see
really
nothing
long
wrong with
title.
that.
We're coming out with the fire takes today, guys.
But didn't Anton Khudobin like blossom into like a legit starter pretty late into his career as well?
I mean, he had a great run last year because Bishop was injured, but he hasn't been anything special this year.
But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you just gotta give a random goalie a shot, right? Like
I'm not
we
saying it's
don't know.
impossible, and I honestly do think at this point Campbell is a better option than Anderson. Like, we haven't seen a large enough sample size for him to say definitively that he's better, but from the games he's played, like, it's clear that, for whatever reason, he's playing better and we're winning more games with him in net. So, I mean, I think it's definitely the way to go right now. But I mean, I don't know if we can count on him. Like, I don't know if I would feel comfortable going into next season having him as the starter, if you know what I mean. For right now, the way he's playing is the way he's playing, and you run with that, you run with the hot goalie. But we'll have to see how it goes in terms of next season. Because, I mean, right now, I don't think anybody would argue for bringing Freddie back in at like a similar cap hit, because obviously he's not worth that right now.
Man, with the Leafs, man, just one
But
problem after the other. Like first it was the
that's what we said.
forwards, then it's the
Yeah,
defense,
obviously,
now it's the
it's the way it
goalies.
goes.
Sorry, Harmon, what were you
That's
saying?
That's
what we
what
said
like
about That's what we said about Bernie though. Wasn't he the backup of LA? And he came to Toronto and look what happened.
Yep. But I mean, Anderson was the backup at Anaheim. Well, I guess like the 1B, but same thing.
Tosca was a backup in San Jose.
Man, we don't have a good track record.
Yeah. There was a guy saying, "Oh, Jack Campbell." I don't want to say this, but it was on Twitter. I just have to bring it up. He reminded me of Cujo, cause and there was and some guy made a video on it. It's like a side by side
Yo, there's
of
title number
Cujo.
3.
I was just gonna say that.
so, so so it's Cujo and Campbell safe side by side. So hopefully, personally, I like that comparison, but I don't want to be like too optimistic here because we know the track record that the Leafs have with goalies.
All right, guys, you guys want to keep talking about these goalie stuff, or should we move on? I know it's a very heated topic.
Well, let's all do this. Everybody say which goalie you think starts first game of the playoffs. It can be Campbell, Anderson, or if you think we're gonna bring somebody else in, then you can say them too.
I think it's
I
gonna
say
be the brick
Campbell.
wall.
The brick wall.
I know Harmon agrees with me.
You should put money on that. You'll probably get crazy odds.
Bro,
Harmon,
facts.
Harmon, I know you agree with me, bro. We want to see brick wall.
Yeah, exactly, bro. We haven't seen any games, bro. We need to
They
see
just
him
called up Ian
and
Scott. I think brick wall is a ways away, guys.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
brick wall
he
and
hasn't
Bevelainen.
Yeah,
he
and
hasn't
the new guy just got brought in, so Wall is like way down the depth chart right now.
yeah he hasn't played a professional hockey game in a year. Like he's been off for like a year and he didn't play professionally, so it's just let him sit in the minor. I know it's a joke, but
All
you
I
said
hear is the
yeah,
sound
sit
of
in the
haters right
minor.
now.
No, I'm not
remember,
saying I'm
Remember
not
Jared
hating
Sparks'
anyone.
first
yo,
game
bro,
against
but
Edmonton
You
and he
guys are
got a
all
shutout?
wall haters. That's all
I'm
I
not
hear.
wall hating, but
bro,
I want to be a starter because I want to start his good, but not letting him play for a year. And Ian Scott hasn't played for 2 years, so that's really starting the growth of our goalie. That's all I'm saying. Like, cause
but I feel like
you
the
don't
same thing's happening. I feel like the
you
same
don't.
thing.
Go ahead.
I feel like the same thing happened with Sparks. Remember you mentioning Jaskin? He's having success now, but like the Leafs haven't played Sparks and stuff like properly.
You don't jump in a National Hockey League game after being out for a good considerable like a year. You don't just throw in a goal like that. That's just making them feel like Kaskasuo fell last year because there's no defense in front of him whatsoever. That was Kaskasuo, but Wo Wo's been a project. He was in Boston College for like a good 3 4 years. He signed an NHL entry level contract, and he played last season. He wasn't that good. He was 800 goaltender, but that was his first season in professional hockey. and you need him to be able to progress. Like you need him to take strides in AHL in order to become an NHL even a capable backup goaltender. To be able to be a consistent NHL goaltender. That's all I'm saying. Cause you need to be able to progress your goalies. That's why we have bad luck with goaltenders. What do you think? Cause we rushed them. Like Justin Pogge, he was he was the starting goaltender for Team Canada. We traded Tuukka Rask away, and yet we consistently said, why do we trade Rask and Pogge? Pogge would have been good. We just didn't progress him properly, or develop him properly, not progress, develop him properly. And you can't be doing that with Wool or even Aktimov or even with Ian Scott, because you need to be able to be like strict with your goalies, have a good, consistent like work ethic and stuff like that.
All right, let's get back to who we think is gonna start for the playoffs now. You guys want to go one by one? So just say your name, okay? So Nadim, you go first.
All right, I'm gonna say Campbell.
Okay, Tanegan,
Campbell.
Jaskaran,
Campbell.
Harmon.
John Gibson.
Oh shit,
Damn.
the hot take. And I'm gonna go with brick wall. How do you feel about that, Jaskaran?
All right, I want to change my answer to Anderson just so I can be different then.
All right, I'm gonna change mine to Askarov.
What the fuck?
You just lost all credibility.
Okay, I'm just trying to piss you guys off now.
We
No,
should have
it's
just
gonna
done the
Yeah,
be Jack
podcast without
Campbell.
him, guys.
I'm just trying to annoy Jaskaran. That's why I was saying brick wall. This guy, I don't know if you realized I was joking about wall before.
Oh, now he's sad.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro. You should have said Justin Pogge instead.
Should have said
Tuukka
Raycroft.
Rask.
Tuukka Rask, yeah. Okay. I was gonna say we should do our like reasons to plan the parade, but I have a feeling most of us are gonna say Jack Campbell or something. Um, so maybe we'll just skip that one for now. Let's get into actual game. Other than goaltending, we had a lot of guys come back. We had Galchenyuk called up. Wayne Simmons came back. We had a lot of lineup shuffling. So let's talk about that. Personally, Wayne Simmons was fantastic. Like he was really missed on this team. I loved it when Hyman scored that goal and he went straight to Simmons on the bench and celebrated with him. It was great to see. But Galchenyuk, man, that's the one thing I've been really dying to talk about. He looked great to me next to Tavares and Nylander. Like to me, like Galchenyuk looked like he belonged on that line. They're missing a little bit of chemistry, but I think once they figure that out, he could be a solution there because he did not look out of place like when you had Kerfoot. When you have Kerfoot on that line, Kerfoot doesn't look like he belongs on that line. But to me, Galchenyuk looks like a great fit there.
Yeah, Barrod, yeah, you really sit down the dot with Wayne Simmons. Like he brings a good presence to the bench. Like he makes the bench louder. Like you see that with Hyman celebration. Like he just pump. Like he it looks like he's yelling. Like he yell. Sorry. I seen like his word mouth. He's like fuck yeah, and then he fucking like he high fived him and he left everyone hanging. But you see the presence on the bench with Simmons. He just hyped up after every goal, and like it's great to see like when someone scores, he jumps up on the bench, and the guys are excited for him when he scores too. It's vice versa. Like the guys love him, and with Galchenyuk's been like if he can find some space and show off his shot, like he has an excellent shot. That's what I heard from like fans that watched him play in Montreal. Like he had a great shot. I want to see a shot. Like yeah.
Yeah, Galchenyuk brings like a little different type of play to the top six. He's fast, he's physical, he tries, right? And he's skilled too. The only thing is, like, I was watching the game on, I think it was Friday or Saturday, and like his positioning seemed kind of off. But that was like what Ballard mentioned as well. Just like chemistry, I guess, for the first couple of games. Um, but yeah, like I think he'd be a good fit for the team. The only thing is, like, if the Leafs are looking for another forward to add at the trade deadline, I'm guessing Galchenyuk's a guy that moves down, right? Like if it's a Forsberg or if it's a Granlund that comes to the Leafs, he's most likely going to take Galchenyuk's spot. And like I'm totally fine with that because like I think Galchenyuk could play like a third line role or a fourth line role as well. Because
Yo,
I think it was in
my
the
only problem with
yeah.
that is that Galchenyuk isn't that good defensively, right? So like if you're grabbing a Forsberg or a Granlund, you're grabbing them because you want them to play offense with Tavares and Nylander, right? And at that point, if you're putting Granlund on the third or fourth line, you're sacrificing all the defense you built on those lines. So
Yeah, but look at the fourth line right now. Like on Saturday, they had like Thornton, Kerfoot, and Spezza.
yeah,
Like, yeah, Kerfoot's good defensively, but like, is he worth like that 3.5 million on the fourth line? Like,
that's a
I
good
don't think so.
point. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I have a problem with Leafs Nation because we had a coach that never switched up the lines. He would be on a consistent basis. Okay, line one, line two, line three, line four. And now that the coach is switching, why are you switching it up? Because clearly it's not working. Like they're not getting. The team is lost 6 out of last 7. And why are you switching it up? Because you have to switch it up. You can't be doing the same lines over and over again expecting it to work. So that's my problem with Leaf Nation, complaining about line changes. Stop.
Leafs Nation, you hear that? Just called you out.
we're gonna get hate mail coming in.
Just
Hopefully,
you better
because
be ready to respond to it.
I'll get ready. I'll just roast every one of them.
But yeah, man, it was nice to see that win though. I know we said we're gonna stop talking about goalies, but I had one point I wanted to say, and it's kind of similar to the Simmons thing. Like, everyone's excited to play with Simmons. He really hypes the team up. I also noticed like the guys love playing in front of Campbell. Like, it just seems like they care more when Campbell's playing. They want him. They want to win for him. And like, I don't know if part of that is like just his personality, or even on the ice, you always see him like talking to the guys during plays, like patting them on the back with his stick. And like compared to Freddie, it's so much different because Freddie just stands there quietly like the entire game, right? So I don't know, like that was nice to see on Saturday. Sorry. Yeah.
How long do you think we see that fourth line together? Thornton, Kerfoot, Spezza.
Honestly, I think for the next couple games at least, because it worked. It worked on Saturday, right? So um, it's kind of crazy that our fourth line is Spezza, Kerfoot, and Thornton. Like, who would have thought? Uh,
Because it's funny because like I think when Dave Boland and Clarkson came to the Leafs, like they were like on our second line or some shit at one point, right? And they were expected to play like middle six forwards, but with Thornton and Spezza, like we can play them anywhere we want in the lineup. There's like
yo,
no expectations for them to meet. Like it's a nice environment to play in, I guess.
I don't even know if that like Clarkson and Bolin would even make this team. Like, I don't know if they would even crack the roster.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like I like that the Leafs are bringing in all these like veterans and stuff because like there's no pressure for them to play. In the past, like when you brought in a forward, like let's say for example you brought in JVR, you would expect him to be like a top line player or something, right? And we were always disappointed. But like now, like we can bring in anyone, and like it's really hard to miss our expectations because like our expectations are pretty low right now for depth forwards, right? As long as they can like chip in from here, like every once in a while, like there's nothing wrong with that. But before, like we were expecting them to chip in like consistently.
Yeah, that's kind of touching on something I wanted to mention in our trade talks. So I'll probably save that part for later. Back to the Calgary game though. Harmon, what are your thoughts on the game other than goaltending?
I feel like Simmons was missed because like I feel like he provides that energy that the bench was missing, and even the team, right? It changed the whole like morale of the whole team because he's one of those players where like he's very like active on the bench, you know, he gives support to everybody. And plus he defends our players as well, like, you know, like our star players. So like whenever they're like getting like, you know, hit or something, or like body check. He'll make sure that they're always like protected and stuff. I feel like he was one key factor like that brought the team, like, I'm not gonna say success because we lost one of the games where he came back, but like uh he's one of those like missing factors that we need, like a gritty, energetic player. And also I feel like I didn't watch too much of the first game where they lost, but like yeah, I feel like it's all like I don't want to talk about it too much because we already mentioned it so much, but like goaltending is like the big factor. I feel like the Leafs are doing like very well, but it's just like the goaltending's not supporting the game right now, and I think like that's what like we're missing right now.
Yeah, man. Like goaltending is the biggest topic right now. That's why we spent like majority of the beginning of the show on it. But yeah, you hit the spot on Simmons, man. He's a great part of the team. All right, let's move on to some trade talks because I wanted to talk about a little bit about what Dunedin was saying. So Dunedin was talking about how, um, like, how we're not expecting so much out of these like depth, like third and fourth line forwards, right? We just want them to chip in a little bit offensively and be solid in their own end, right? Like pretty much like create energy, and like that's part of the reason I kind of changed my mind about going for someone like Forsberg or Granlund or something, right? Like I would rather have somebody who can fit in the bottom six and be a solid stud as a two-way forward. You know what I mean? Like someone that can come into the lineup and throw the body around, um, like really disturb the other team defensively, kind of be a little bit more gritty. Because at this point, like we're scoring decently even without Matthews putting up almost a goal a game, right? So once Matthews gets clicking again, like do we really need more offense? And having that difference maker on the bottom six would be insane. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like I know like right now there's so much different stuff we can go for. Like some people are saying we should go for a top four defenseman like Ekholm. Some people are saying goalie like Harmon said John Gibson. Some people are saying like a Forsberg, Taylor Hall, Granlund, or there's like the more defensive forwards as well. Like, so what do you guys think like about what the Leafs should acquire? What do you guys think about like a bottom six kind of like grinder two-way type of player?
Yeah, I agree with you there, Barrett. My thoughts personally on going all in is I don't think we should go all in because we haven't made it past the first round, and these guys need to prove that they can play in the playoff before we go all in, make it to at least the second round or in the conference finals at least to be able to go. Okay, we progressed. I mean, we developed and we progressed throughout the playoff. We know what it takes to get to this, maybe a second round, maybe a third round. But if we're just gonna be stuck in the first round over and over again, that that doesn't mean you go all in. If you haven't made the first, I'm not gonna bring the stat up because we all hate it, but we have made the by the first time for the first 4 years of this Matthews, Marner, Nylander, um, Tavares, if you want to call it, era. That's why I don't think we should go all in because the guys, I know Matthews proved it, Marner proved it, but guys like William JT, we need to prove that they can they can be like difference maker in the playoffs. Like I believe like going all in doesn't make sense as of now. Because the guys are still young. They're 23, 22. We had still got time, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. And I agree with you guys. Like, I like Kyle Follow, or like even guys like Nick Foligno. They can come in and be kind of difference makers in the bottom to take the body a lot. Play the PK, because they've been struggling the PK a lot. Play the PK. We need those types of guys. We don't need like another we could use a score, but not necessarily. Like guys like Philip Forsberg, they can come, but that can cost you guys like Robertson and Mira, Lilligren or Sandy, which I'm not excited to give away. Cause 2 year, 1.5 year of that, or would you have 7 years of Robertson and Mirov, Sandy and Lilligren? Like you're taking a risk there, which I think Lilligren is ready to go as of now, with what I read or what I heard of. Um, Robertson almost ready. Sandy We already know he's been in the NHL, so he's ready. Amirov can come be ready in 2 to 3 years, and be a good support role because he played left. I think he played left wing. I'm not entirely too sure. He can be a good support role for those guys, and be a two-way sniper, which is that's not like it's not it's how do I say this? It's not been a commodity. Like it's a rare commodity in the NHL. I've barely seen a two-way sniper who can play the PK and be a sniper at the same time, which I like more bad Marchand, which is a rarity in the NHL.
Man, you really hit the mark on that one. Like the thing is, if you're going after like a Forsberg or like one of these big names, you're pretty much going all in. You're selling, what do they call it? Like your cupboard. You're selling your cupboard to go all in for these playoffs, right? And that's the thing. They haven't even made it out of the first round. So how are you going all in on a team that hasn't proven to you that they've had even a little bit of playoff success? On top of that, there's still question marks around this team based on the last 7, 8 games. And then Matthews and Marner are 23 years old, man. They're the same age as me. Like I'm not ready for a playoff. Like if I was in the NHL, I'm way too young to go for a cup run and like have my team go all in. Like of course I'm not good enough to play, but I'm just saying like age wise, these guys are not there yet. Matthews and Marner are just entering their prime. Their next like 4 to 5 years are going to be the highlights of their career, right? So why not wait maybe a year or two till these guys are really hitting full stride? Like look at McKinnon. I think he's 2 years older than these guys, 2 or 3 years older, and he's an animal out there, right? Like if these guys are McKinnon's age, that's the time to go all in because that's the time your player is playing at their best. And by then, hopefully they've made it out of the first round. But yeah, like you were saying about Robertson, Liljegren, Sandin, Amirov, you can sell these guys and get a rental for a year or two, or you can have 3 years of each of them at entry level contracts. And especially with the way this team is built and the flat cap situation, you want cheap contracts. So these players on entry level deals are going to be so key for the Leafs. And another thing, Felino and Iafallo are perfect, bro. If we can get one of those two, I'm so happy. And honestly, I would be willing to give up Kerfoot and even like a first or a second for one of those two. And I'm so happy because that really fills out our team. Like I love Kerfoot, but 3.5 million, we gotta sign Hyman in the offseason, and getting a player like Felino or Iafallo fits a lot better for this team. Harmon and Tanegan, let's hear your thoughts on who you guys think the Leafs should go after, whether that's a defenseman, forward, goalie, and whether we should be giving up one of those top four prospects.
Yeah, so I think what you just said, Nick Foligno or Iafallo, like one of those two, would be perfect for the Leafs because they can play up and down your lineup, right? You can play on the top six or you can play on the fourth line. It doesn't matter because they can chip in any way how, right? And they won't be as expensive as a guy like Forsberg. But like one thing that I was gonna argue against you guys, you and Jaskran, was I think like if you wait a few more years to make like big moves, like you guys said that Matthews and Marner are just 23 years old, they're pretty young, which they are, right? But like you look at the rest of the core, which is like Tavares, Muzzin, guys like Riley and Brody, they're getting up there in age too. So like right now is their prime. So do you want to waste their prime? Because like even if you have guys like Amira, Robertson, Sandine coming in, you have guys like Tavares, Muzzin, and Brody like slightly declining year by year, right? So it's like a you have to weigh the negatives and positives, I guess, with this. Like it could go either way, but like I know if Nadim was here, he would be saying to go all in, and I kind of agree with that. Like don't sell everyone, but like be open to sell a guy like Liljegren, right? Like does selling one guy really hurt their chances of having good depth in the future? No, right?
Okay, honestly, that's a good point about like the Tavares and the sorry, not Barry, Brody and Muzzin. Like they are in their prime, so I never thought about it that way. But I just don't want to like let's say we go all in and this team flunks out in the first round again. Like then what?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, how all in are you going? Like, we're not going
Like
all in,
it's not
right?
an all in, but you're selling a significant piece. Like in my opinion, Lilligren and Sandin both have top four potential still, right? Like we don't know what they are in the NHL, and we you never know, man. Like Lilligren was supposed to go like top two in his draft year. He got he got mono, I think, and that really dropped his stock.
Yeah.
So let's say we trade him to LA or Nashville, and he blows up and becomes a Norris. I'm not saying he's gonna become a Norris candidate, but let's say he does, and it's kind of like a Tuukka Rask situation. Just because we never gave him the chance, like that's gonna blow up in our faces, right? So like
That would
these
be the
four,
most Leaf thing to happen.
that's what I'm saying.
Lilligren
So
winning the Norris Trophy.
can you imagine? So that's why I think maybe not this year. Maybe next year you play some of these guys like Robertson, Sandin, and Lilligren should get the chance to crack the lineup in 2021-2022 season, right? Like there's no reason for them not to get the best chance possible to make the lineup. So why not wait till next year and hope that like to be honest, this team right now, plus an Iafallo or a Felino and maybe a depth defender, can make it to the second or third round easily. Like there is no way they don't make it to the second or third round against these weak Canadian teams, right? Um, so I don't know. It's tough, man. Harmon, let's hear your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think we should give up one of these top four prospects?
Right now I'm like kind of like in the middle. I'm like 50-50. But like I feel like our team is really good now. And like the only thing we're lacking in is like goaltending. I guess it hasn't been that great, right? But obviously Jack Campbell, like he's been like solid so far. And I feel like yeah, like going back to the Negan's point, he said that like Brody, Tavares, Riley, they're all like declining year by year, and like how much time do they have left until like they, completely like they're just like not the same player anymore, right? So I feel like you gotta look at them as well, like, and I feel like your team is good now, but like what if you do play these like prospects like maybe in a couple years and they're not as good as we are, you know, projecting them to be, like, oh, they're gonna be like, superstars and stuff, and like they're gonna be like a top six forward, a top four D man. But like I don't know, I feel like you have a chance now. Like you have this like amazing core. All you're just lacking in is goaltending, and defense has been an issue for like so many years, and now like the defense is finally solid. Might as well just go for the playoffs and try to like give up Lilligren maybe. I don't know, but like it's a tough call to make, but I think like I believe in Dubas, so like whatever he's gonna do, like he's gonna have to make the decision.
Yeah, I think that's like the key point there, Harmon. What you said at the end, like I believe in Dubas. Like as much as I don't want to give up one of those four guys, I think if we did, I would have faith in Dubas that he's making the right move. Like he knows what he's doing. Like if we had like Dave Nonis and he traded Nick Robertson and a first for Ricard Raquel, like I would run away. And I know Dubas is not going to do that. That's the thing, right? So I don't know. Let's see. Like
I
one
would.
thing I
So
noticed you and Harmon said, I mean Tanegan and Harmon said is you guys would give up Lilligren. Like what that makes me realize like I know none of us want to give up Robertson. Like the only way I'm giving up Robertson is if it's like a stud forward who hits a high level of play and has a good contract that's affordable for a couple of years. That's the only way I'm giving up Robertson because out of all four of those prospects, Robertson in my eyes has the highest ceiling. But yeah, if it's Lilligren and it's a like I think I'd be okay. I don't want to. I think I'd be okay with that, but I don't think I want to give up Sandine or Robertson. Amirov or Lilligren, I'm like 50-50 on.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna counterpoint all your guys the other gun trade whatever trade idea that you wanna call it. Like he's he's 21 still. Defenseman take a long time to grow. You don't guys like Heiskin and McCarr, Hughes, they don't grow on trees. You gotta develop these guys. They take a long time. It's not. They take their time. He was drafted at the age of 17. He had a mono. He came over. He was more of an offensive defenseman, and they worked on his game. He became a more two-way defenseman. Even though he was projected to be like a pure offensive defenseman, he's a two-way defenseman now. And like you guys, like even all these nations just giving up on, oh, he's a bust. He's just 21. Like calm your balls. He's not a bust. He doesn't even pay any. He
Buddy,
paid.
none of us are saying he's a bust.
Yeah, but I'm talking about all of these nations, not like some of these nations, not like all of you guys, but people are
Bro,
saying he's.
you started this off by calling us out, and then you said,
Yeah, I'm kind of pointing all of these nations because they want to trade Littlegan away so badly because he's been trying to progress. Like they've been trying to develop since what 2018 since he came into this organization, and I feel like they've done a great job. And I think he's on the NHL ready. He's on the edge of NHL ready. He's right there. He just needs to work on his offensive game a little bit more, and that's what they're trying to make him do. That's why he worked on the off season, and that's what he's trying to do as of now. And it's working out for him, and like it's working out for him in the AHL, and hopefully he can progress to NHL. I know all defensemen don't come to AHL and become studs in NHL, but hopefully he can. I'm not willing to take the risk of trading him just right away, just like that.
no, I agree too. That's why I said like I wouldn't want to, but if I had to choose between him and Sandine, I think I would take Sandine. But another thing is that I just thought of like how much longer is we're talking about these guys' primes, right? Yeah, we're talking about how Brody, Muzzin, even Riley are gonna start to decline from now on. So let's say we do go all in, we trade in Sandine and Liljegren, or even one of the two, and we get Forsberg for 2 years. Forsberg's gone in 2 years. 3.5, 4 years from now, Muzzin and Brody are not going to be good. Riley, who knows what he's going to be like because he's an offensive defenseman. A lot of times, offensive defensemen end up getting washed. So now all of a sudden, you had two amazing D prospects. You had to give one away, and you're screwed defensively. And now you got Matthews, Marner, and Nylander at the age of 27, 28, hitting their prime on like literally they're at the peak of their careers, and we have no defenders left in the system. So like that's why I'm so hesitant because every good team, like look at Tampa Bay, right? Like their stars are who? Like their big stars are not including Point, but it's Stamkos, Kucherov, and Hedman, right? And Vasilevsky. But Stamkos, Kucherov, and Hedman are like in their prime right now. Like they're all like what between the age of like 26 to like 30. Like I'm not sure their exact ages, but they're in that age where you would call the prime, right? But then behind them you have the supporting cast who's a little bit younger. You got Braden Point, Vasilevsky, and you got even Anthony Cirelli, right? Like these guys are younger guys who they drafted as gems and who developed into impact players, right? So who's to say that we can't even Sergachev, like Sergachev's a young guy who's contributing like in a big way for Tampa. So who's to say that 2 years from now, Sandine, Liljegren, Robertson, and Amirov aren't the answers to all our problems? Like having a big four and then having Robertson and Amirov behind them is not a bad thing. And having Riley, Muzzin, Brody, and then having Liljegren and Dermott, or not Liljegren, Dermott, and Sandine behind them is not a bad thing. So I don't know. That's why I'm just very confused. That's why I'm saying like I'm not opposed to trading them. I want to see what they play like in the NHL first before you completely give them away. That's why I'm saying maybe wait a year or two, give the team a chance to try to prove themselves in the first round at least, and then you bring Liljegren or Amirov or whoever in. You give them like half a season, and if they look completely horrible and they just can't fit, then you maybe try to trade them.
So like when we were talking about Forsberg, I remembered the Forsberg for Erat trade that the Caps made in
Holy
2012.
shit! Yeah,
So it's kind of funny how like if we trade a guy like Liljegren for Forsberg, and he ends up being a bust, like if Forsberg uh, doesn't help us, and Liljegren turns out to be a stud, like that would be pretty funny because like Forsberg was traded for aging forward, and then now we're gonna be doing the same thing with Lilligren for Forsberg as well.
Yeah, taking like when they did trade Forsberg, they traded Forsberg with the same intention that we're saying the Leafs should trade Liljegren or Sandin or whatever, right? Even like
Yeah,
look at what Boston did with Tyler Seguin. Like I know Tyler Seguin was a way bigger player than like any of these guys that we're talking about will ever be, right? Like Tyler Seguin was a superstar at one point, but they traded Tyler Seguin for Louis Eriksson. They traded a young player for a veteran that can help them now, quote unquote.
that was
Didn't
one of
work
the
out.
dumbest trades I've seen. Like,
Didn't work out.
y-
I think there's some cap issues with that too. Like they didn't want to pay Seguin or something. Or it was a
there
partying
was
issue.
that.
There's a partying
Yeah,
issue
there was
too.
like that too. But like, do you remember watching that YouTube video where like they
Yeah, I
showed?
seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
That's a dumb. He's like, oh,
Sorry, wait, what is it?
the Peter Sweat. He's like, oh, he doesn't play the Boston Bruin way. I'm like, the fuck. He's one of the most up and coming, superstars in the league, and you're just gonna trade him like he's nothing. Like, what
You
the
want to know why they
fuck?
traded
Yeah,
him?
like
He wasn't willing to slew foot people.
100%.
100%. You
Yeah, but like
got
it was pretty funny seeing like a bunch of old white men in the room, like saying like, "Oh, like he has to play the Boston Bruin way, otherwise he's not a keeper." Like, what is that?
yeah. So guys, I just pulled up the Leafs depth chart from Toronto Maple Leafs to Marlies to prospects outside the system. Um, ranked by NHL ET. It's by Kyle Cushman. I think he writes for the Toronto. I think Hostel. Let me just quickly check his bio. I mean he writes for RTA Sports Media. He's a co-host of the Green Flag podcast. So he does it every month. I think he updates the Toronto Toronto organization depth chart. So behind Lilligren and Sandine, who's currently injured right now, he has Callie Rosen, Mark Holloway, Roddy McCourt, Christian Rubin, Noah Hoffenmeyer, Joy Duzak, and then also the system by ETA. He has Philip Crow, who signed to a NHL contract. Yeah, and then he has Axel Randall, Mikko Kokkonen on the left side, Topi Niemeyer on the right side, JD Green on the left side, John Fusco on the right side, Ryan O'Connor on the left side, Mike Koster, who's left-handed player on the right side, William Villeneuve, Kyle Lupanen, and Emili Rassinen. Um, so yeah, we're thin on defensemen, based on the ETA, but Topi Niemela had a great World Juniors. Axel Randall could make the junior squad upcoming. He's been really good with his Finnish league this season. So yeah, it's really scarce resources. So that's part of the reason why you don't trade guys like Lilligren and Sandin because they don't really grow on trees. They're really good defensemen as well.
Let me throw this out there then. What about Travis Dermott? Because like right now he's playing around like 13 minutes a night or some shit, right?
Honestly, I'm okay with giving up Dermott.
Yeah, because like, bro, we used to be hyped about Travis Dermott, and he is a good player, but like with Riley and Muzzin in front of him right now, like you're not getting enough value out of him, right?
The skills are there, but he hasn't like combined the skills all together. Like it's been he has a tool set to get there, but I don't know what's wrong. He's just a weird defenseman. Like it's not like he's been developing. He's been developing, but it just he needs to take the next step, which he hasn't been able to do under Sheldon Keefe or Mike Babcock. And like I don't know why. What's the problem with him or anything like that? Like
You know
it's
what
just
I think
weird.
about Dermott? Like when I see him,
But
he doesn't have a key style of play. It seems like he tries to do everything and it doesn't work. Like when you look at a guy like Muzzin, like what's his style of play? His style of play is like that hard, positionally sound defenseman, right? Or you look at like Justin Hall. Justin Hall is that lanky. He's like annoying to defend against, or he's annoying to play offensive against. Or even Brody. Brody's like that guy who kind of stays behind Riley. Riley's like that rushing defenseman. Bogosian's like your big body hitter, right? But to me, like Dermott doesn't have an identity when he plays. Dermott just it just looks to me like he's just trying to do everything and it's not working for him. So I don't know, like he's 24 years old. Like yeah, he's still pretty young, he could still become something. But if we had to trade what between him, Lilligren, and Sandine, I would easily say let Dermot go. Like easily
You know
because
who?
yeah,
You know who Dermot reminds me of?
who?
Nick Leddy.
Nicoletti.
It's like in when Nick Leddy was playing for Chicago. I think it was like 10 years ago or something. He was like an up and coming defenseman, but like he was kind of like Dermot, where he wasn't showing all of his potential yet. And like he didn't have his own identity yet. He had Keith and I think it was Udoya or Jamason in front of him, so he couldn't play in the top four either. So it was a kind of a waste playing him on the bottom six. So Chicago ended up trading him to Islanders, and Islanders had no one on their team. So like they put him in the top four role, and like he became a top four defenseman. But like, is he what you want as a number one left-handed defenseman? No, right? But like that's something that Travis Dermott could become, like an average top four defenseman. You know,
Oh,
he could
I
be
agree
forced into a
100%.
role. Yeah, he's not gonna shine. He's just like average, I guess.
And like he's a
Yeah.
left-handed defenseman. Is he gonna be better than Riley or Muzzin in that role? Probably
Even
not, right?
Sandine, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
like you
like
throw in
and
Sandine there too.
Sandine has what, like 3 years on him, 4 years on him. Like how old Sandine? 20, 21, maybe. Like I think he's
Yeah,
around that
like
age. So he has Sandine has extra 3 or 4 years of development, and he could probably play in that same position and do fine. So, but the only thing
and
is, if,
like
if I'm trading Dermot, I want another defender back because as soon as you trade Dermot, we have Letton gone and we have Dermot gone, and all of a sudden, you have Martin Marincin coming in the playoffs when Muzzin gets injured.
Um, like you were
Yeah,
saying,
that's
like
facts.
like you were saying that with with Dermot, he was given an opportunity last year to prove himself, and he didn't. Like, remember when Riley went down and he was playing with, I think, Justin. I think he was doing with Jake Muzzin, Justin Hall playing with Tyson Berry, if I'm correct. But oh no, he was playing with Justin Hall. Muzzin was playing with Berry. Yeah, when I remember when everyone went down at that one time, and he had to play with Hall. I think it was. Um, yeah, he was given an opportunity, and it looks like he didn't succeed. Like, that's what it was, and that's why they brought in Brody, because they knew that. I remember last year when they came back from quarantine and everything, and they came back to do the playing round. They were they had the experiment with Dermot and Roddy in practice, and that didn't work out, or else they would not have brought Brody in. Even though they love Brody, they wanted to see how Dermot was, and Dermot wasn't successful at what he was doing at that time.
yeah, I think if you have a guy like Riley on the team, you can't have Dermot also on the top four because you need more defensive guys, right? Like Brody, Muzzin, Hall to surround guys like Riley. That's why I think like a Sandine or Lilligren would be better in our top six defensemen rather than Dermot. Because like Dermot's, as you mentioned, 23, 24, and like we have no room for him. One, and like with Sandine, he's gonna come into the league as a 21-year-old or 22-year-old. He's gonna play on that third pairing for a bit, maybe a year or two, and then by that time, Muzzin will probably start declining, and you can shift Muzzin to third pair role and bump up Sandine to a second pair role, and that would be like the perfect transition, right?
Yeah, I agree. Harmon, what are your thoughts? You want to give up Dermot? Like, if I want to give up Dermot, I want a defender back. Like, the only way I give up Dermot is if we're getting like Ekholm or something back.
Yeah, I feel like what you talked about earlier, like just kind of like, sums it all up. Like, if you lose Dermot, like, what are you gonna have? You already gave up Lettinen and stuff, right? And I feel like they need that depth option. Either way, like if we don't give up Dermot, or if we decide to keep Dermot, we need that depth option for a defenseman, because going into playoffs, you never know what's gonna happen and stuff. And I feel like that's crucial for the Leafs right now. And I think that's like one of the big things in the like in the playoffs. Like you need depth players who are gonna step up when like an injury occurs, and that's what Dubas needs to focus on.
All right, let's talk about some more Leafs topics we haven't gotten into. It seems like after that long week, we had a lot to talk about. Um, Got to say bye to Jimmy VC and Boyd. Freaking Jim Benning takes both of them from the Leafs, and like that just sucks because they're literally in our division. Um, yeah, like what do you guys think about them going to Vancouver? I was really hoping they would clear waivers, but I knew they wouldn't. I knew there was no way they would.
Um, uh, this is a funny thing I read on Twitter. Jim Benning, Kyle Dewey does a better job of Jim Benning building the Canucks bottom six than Benning actually does.
Yo, that's hilarious. That's so
Yeah,
true.
yeah. Um, them taking they need cheap depth goal scoring because they're expensive depth scoring out scoring for them. So they're gonna take hours because who else are they gonna take? They're gonna take Calgary because clearly they can't score bottom six forwards. Yeah. So um, yeah, they need the cheap depth goal scoring. That's why they took him. That's all I'm gonna say about that. And BC and Boyd, they were really good with the Leafs. Boyd had like I think 8 points in 20 games. I'm gonna say. Yeah. So they've been they were really good. BC was he was just hated because of that tweet of Darren Jagger saying we should get rid of William Nylander if we got Jimmy VC. That remember when the VC sweepstakes were happening. I think he was hated on because of that. Because Darren Jagger is a dumbass and doesn't know what he's talking about sometimes. Or most of the times I gotta say. But yeah, that's all. That's all I gotta say. And Boyd was an excellent cheap goal scorer, and you could hang on to him because we gotta have cap space and cap flexibility going forward.
It makes sense for Vancouver to pick them up because if you look at their lineup, you have like guys like Furland, Bailey, Pedersen, Beagle, and Tanner Pearson all injured. That's like five guys that usually play in their lineup that are injured. And then you look at their actual bottom six, and it's like absolute garbage right now. You have like random guys playing on the third line and fourth line. It's brutal. And then the funny thing is, like, if you look at their first power play, Jimmy VC is on the first power play.
Yo, am I the only one that's more sad about losing Boyd than VC though?
Yeah, I'm super sad about losing Boyd. But then, like, but then you
Boyd
see
was so nice next to
Kerfoot taking his
Spezza.
place. Yeah, but does he have room on this team though? As a depth option,
Yeah,
like, as a,
that's
it
fair.
felt good having him as a scratch or something, but I don't know.
It
Okay.
just kind of sucks to lose those guys
Yeah.
to like for nothing.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, you have guys like Patan, Joey Anderson, Arkana Barabanov, and guys in the mind who are just sitting there. Yeah, those guys too. So
Yeah, we have
hopefully
a
they can
stupid amount of
produce,
depth.
right? Yeah, so hopefully they can produce. That's why I think Dubas was comfortable in like moving on from them. He knew they were gonna get claimed. I thought BC wouldn't because of the season he's having. He got a chance with Tavares and Nylander, and he didn't succeed. He showed up with Spezza because Spezza just on. I don't want to jinx it, but he's been good this season. Um, yeah, yeah, because BC, I would have thought BC, but I certainly thought Boyd was gonna get claimed because BC got claimed. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, I was kind of sad that Boyd got claimed because I was amped like when like the preseason started. Like yo, I was like Travis Boyd, yo, who's this guy, right? He came out of nowhere and he like
Oh yeah,
looked
he
good
he
in the
played.
preseason game.
Yeah, he played sick in that scrimmage game, right?
Yeah, and then I was like, yo, like he could be like a nice like maybe third, fourth line like player, right? Because like he's good. He has speed. He has like skill. And he can shoot the puck and stuff. And like he was great on the line with Spezza. Like they had like chemistry and stuff, right? So like that was like I felt like I was more sad about losing Boyd, as you said, than losing BC. But I feel like they're like great depth options. But obviously Vancouver. or sorry, should I say the Vancouver Maple Leafs, as people were mentioning in the comments on like Instagram post I saw. Uh, yeah, so like they were great depth options, and then Jim Benning had the chance and had the opportunity to take them. He's like, why not? And I feel uh like they had more NHL experience than what the depth options we have now, and I feel like that like m makes a difference. So like like when like players have like a history and they're like used to playing more, like I feel like they're a better option. But like since we don't have that, like these like Barabanov still getting used to the ice and stuff, and like Patan hasn't been like consistently in the lineup, so like I feel like it's a big loss in like the depth options. But like we'll see like like what our depth forwards can do now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Harmon, because those two were probably our best depth guys. Like, if an injury goes down, those were the two guys you would want to come in. Like, I know we still got like just Garden said that we still got guys like Joey Anderson, Barabanov, we got Nick Patan and stuff, but I would rather have Jimmy VC, or you could say Jimmy BC, that Steve Dangle podcast. But you could have Jimmy VC or Boyd. I would rather have those two come in and fill in on the bottom six in case of an injury, rather than like someone who's unproven like Barabanov or Joey Anderson. But yeah, man, like it sucks, but it's part of the game, right? Like that's gonna happen a lot. Like considering how many forwards we had, and a lot of them were one-way deals. There's no way that we would be so lucky to keep them up throughout the whole season. So it's all good. Maybe we'll end up getting a nice waiver wire pickup as well. Some other team has to send somebody down, and we get to claim them. But we'll see. Let's move on now from not Leafs topics after over an hour. I would love to keep talking about the Leafs, but we should really cover some of this other stuff. Once again, the Buffalo Sabres. I don't even want to bring it up. Somebody can start talking about it because I'm, again, so sick of this shit, man. Every single week.
Okay, Ralph Kruger, where do we start? Ralph Kruger, he was brought in. He hasn't coached hockey, I think, since the Oilers were mediocre back in the day. I think it was 2012, 2013, or something around that line, around there, early 2010s. He was coaching. Okay, I don't know why they brought him in for like I think 3.3 million or something like that. I don't know why they brought him in. He hasn't coached hockey in a while, and he was in the Southampton EPL Southampton. He was a director there. I don't know why would go all the way to soccer and switch into hockey. It's two completely different sports. I don't know why you would go after him whatsoever. Um, he lost 12. He lost 12 in a row before getting fired. That's not a good way to go out or get out, or what do you want to call it? Yeah. So, um, apparently the players loved him, but I don't know where that's coming from. He was, he, like, I don't know, like, he's not NHL worthy coach. That's what I believe, because he carried Team Europe to what a finals in the World Cup of Hockey, but this got embarrassed by Team Canada. Yeah, so that was that, and then he ended up getting an opportunity to Sabres, and Sabres were all over the place, and they still are. And I'm not sure what they're gonna do next. They're gonna have Don Granado um as their um as their interim head coach, but they don't have like they don't have any pieces like Rasmus Dahlin. He's fed up with losing. Jack Eichel is fed up with losing. Sam Mariner is fed up. Even Rich Leonard. Rich Leonard has been the longest, and he's upset. Like you can see it in his quotes. He in one of his quotes. I read it on Bar Down. He was so upset. Like it's not. He's been there for so long, and he's lost so much, and I feel so bad for him. Even though his analytics not that good, but you gotta feel bad for the guy because he's been there for so long.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. Buffalo's a shit show. It's a tire fire, whatever you want to call it. Uh, I honestly don't have anything else to say. I feel like all my opinions about Buffalo have already been said in all the other podcasts, and it just seems like it's getting worse and worse. I guarantee you, next podcast episode, there's gonna be brand new news about Buffalo that we're gonna hear, whether it's Eichel traded or Hall traded or something even worse about management and coaching. But anyways, we'll see about that. Let's move on from Buffalo because I really don't want to talk about it. Oh, there's a just Garden just sent us this breaking news. Canadians, the Montreal Canadiens, I think Calgary Flames game is Oilers and Canadiens game got canceled. Um, you guys think that's because of COVID? Did they say? Like, if it's because of COVID, man, like we were lucky in Canada not to get anything, but
They haven't said anything as of yet. I'll let you guys know if they have.
like, what else could it be though, right? Like, the only
Yeah,
way a game gets canceled right now is because of COVID, and
yeah,
that's gonna be rough, man. If COVID's finally getting, if the Canadian teams are finally getting hit by COVID, it's gonna be really unlucky. Like we've been so lucky. I think every single division in America got hit by it already. So I don't know. Like, and the thing that's gonna suck is who played these teams in the last like week and a half, right? Like let's say Calgary played the Oilers in the last week and a half. That puts the Leafs players at risk. So I don't know, man. That's gonna be something to look out for.
yeah. Especially because yeah, there hasn't been any news update, but yeah, that's concerning. Considering that these 17 played each other over and over again. Like the East Division was hit the hardest so far with the Devils and the Sabres, and then there was I think the Bruins now have three guys on the COVID list, and it's not like I gotta blame the Canadian government just because the vaccination process has been so slow here. Um, they've been getting the vaccine, but like even like they want to wait. I understand, but you gotta get the guys vaccine as soon as possible. And the Canadian government just been so slow with that, especially here in Ontario. It's been a shit show because they haven't got anyone vaccinated like at all. Like some like. So the AstraZeneca vac. Sorry, I'm just trying to get into like the vaccine stuff here. I don't want to like get into political, but like the AstraZeneca vaccine was distributed here for people from 61 to 65 years old or 60 to 65 years old, and that was a complete shit show because they didn't have the lines would break down and stuff like that, and it would be like and it'd be like what's happening, and they wouldn't answer the calls because all the lines broke down, especially because these pharmacies don't have stuff like they don't have proper equipment. They have old technology and stuff. So like going back to the hockey, like they can't get the players vaccine, and that's a problem because the players are at risk because of close contact with like body checking and like screening the goalie in front of the net and like body contact. It's gonna be it's harder like to have COVID just not like because of like yeah it's hard to not get COVID especially because you're in tight vicinities of each other.
Yeah, hopefully everything's going well, man. Like we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't explode and like a lot of the Canadian division start seeing canceled games, especially because like the Leafs haven't played in so long. Like we've had so many breaks and they're finally about to get back into it. And if they start winning again and all of a sudden they're gonna have to start canceling games, it's gonna suck to see a lot of that momentum killed. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Let's move on to some exciting news for diversity in the NHL. We got the first all black line in pro hockey since the 40s. We got Akil Thomas, Quinton Byfield, and I think Devontae Smith Pelly. I think that was amazing to see. We we've talked about this before, but we need more diversity in the NHL. We got some. We're getting a lot more diversity all around. I know we have a couple of like. There's like I remember on Team Canada. Sorry, I forgot the name, but it was somebody who was half Japanese on Team Canada. We got Jujar on the Oilers, who's Indian. We got this all black line, so it's really nice to see more and more diversity coming to the NHL, especially like Hockey Night in Canada's host, I think out west, is Harnarayan Singh, and that's great to have him as a host, right? Because having non-white hosts, like even like Anthony Stewart on Hockey Night in Canada, it's good, man. It's good for the culture, and it proves that people that are not white can play the sport and really make it in the league. And I'm hoping when we're grown adults, like when we're a lot older from now, like we get to see a lot more diversity. We get to see some Indian people, some Asian people, some black, a lot more black people in the league, and a lot more diversity. What do you guys think about that all black line? I think Akil Thomas scored a hat trick with that line, so that was pretty cool too.
It's great to see that. I I I really enjoyed that news because like all of us are people of color who record the podcast. It really touches us because we don't have like we don't we don't necessarily have like a guy to look out like who's a superstar who we look after like Quentin Byfield could be that, like he could be a guy who can come in and be like a superstar and have a personality in this league. And it's great to break down barriers and have a like have an influence on like guys, like people. I know hockey is an expensive sport and like it's not easy, but a guy like Quentin Byfield can persuade like these people of color, like BIPOC people, and have them play in the NHL one day, even play hockey to grow the sport. And I feel like these guys who like in the minors, I know guys of color like Wayne Simmons, like I remember reading a story about like how they were called the N word when they were like in minors and like growing up in double A, triple A, single A, and like they would have to have like people like they have to like suck it up and not say anything, but that can't be right. You gotta stick up for yourself. And there's been cases of the I think Ontario like the minor Ontario Hockey Association where like people have complained about racism and they haven't done nothing about it. And that's changed because of Bill Peters. And remember, Bill Peters got fired, and that changed the sport of hockey forever. Because I remember Kima Luke sticked up for all the people who've been discriminated against and all that, because it's not right, and that shouldn't be right at all. And I'm happy to have an all black line, especially the Black Aces in like 1940 or something. It's really nice to have that.
So we might see like Akil Thomas and Byfield playing together in the NHL in the future too, right? That's gonna be an exciting duo to watch. Who's the
It's
third
good.
guy on
Yeah,
that line?
I feel
It was Devonte Smith Pelly. I don't know if he'll make it into the league because he's getting kind of up there, but it's pretty good
Yeah,
to
he's
see
the
those
same
two
guy.
on LA as well because LA is a huge market like for the NHL. It's like LA is one of the biggest cities in America, like and in the world, and the Kings are the main team there. So I think it's pretty good to see those guys who could be end up being the face of the franchise for them.
yeah, I feel like this is great for the game of hockey, because it changes the culture and stuff, and like the guys in this generation are gonna change that, culture of just the league only being like one color, and like now they have this all black line, and then they're gonna have like more ethnic ethnicities playing in the NHL, and this is gonna like change the whole culture, and it's gonna grow the game of hockey, so it's great for the game. And I feel like yeah, and like in today's NHL, like all these young players are gonna change that culture, as you said, like Balrog before, that like like I feel like they're gonna have a real big impact, and they're gonna change the way hockey's played today, and they're gonna influence a younger generation of it's okay to be like a person of color and play the game of hockey. And I feel like it's very good, and salute to them.
Yeah, man, it's great to see. I hope they have a lot more success. Like the Negan said, I hope they make it up to the NHL and they play great together up there. It'll be great to see. All right, let's wrap it up on this last topic. Tyson Berry, former Leaf, is absolutely ripping it over there in Edmonton. He's also a free agent after this year, and we know Edmonton has a history of signing dumb contracts as well. What do you guys think is gonna happen with Tyson Berry? Because this guy's like a pure offensive defenseman who's having a great season. He's probably gonna want a lot of money, and I could see Edmonton offering this guy like 6 or 7 mil for a couple of years, and then that coming back to bite them in the ass later. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Okay, I'm just gonna update us on the Canadians and Oilers game. So the NHL just released an update. The National Hockey League announced today that as a result of two Montreal Canadian players entering the NHL's COVID protocol earlier today, the team's game tonight against Edmonton Oilers will be postponed. The decision was made by the league's NHL PAs and the club's medical groups. The league will provide a further update tomorrow. So it's because of COVID, two Montreal Canadians got COVID, or not got COVID, or the tracing that led them back to have contact with people with COVID. So yeah. Okay, back to the Tyson Berry thing. So Tyson Berry, we all know he's an offensive defenseman. We seen it here first and foremost where he struggled under Mike Babcock because Mike Babcock made him play a different game. But with Keith, he was more offensive. He didn't play his game, but um, I remember Harmon was saying he should be a Norris Trophy. I'm not gonna say his words, but we were complaining about it before the podcast. He was saying that he should be a Norris Trophy. I'm just like, no, he shouldn't, because all these Norris Trophy defensemen are by points, but he's playing in McDavid and Draisaitl. How much does that influence his stats? That inflates his stats, but what? Like, like 2 times or 3 times more? That's what it is. I don't care if he's setting him up, but secondary assists, primary assists. It depends how much primary assists he gets. Secondary assists, power play points. He has all those points because of McDavid and Josh are doing all the work. He's just feeding in the puck, right? That's what it is. Um, he's keeping the power play, but Josh and McDavid could do that too. They've been doing with Klepom the whole time, and Klepom hasn't won a Norris Trophy, right? So, um, yeah, I don't believe he's a Norris Trophy caliber defenseman at all because of those. And he's pure offensive. Like the guys who won prior, Victor Hedman. Do you guys who won 2018? Because I don't remember. Yeah, they've been more to P.K. Subban, Drew Doughty, Victor Hedman. They've all been two-way defensemen. And I believe that's what contributes. You gotta be good defensively too instead of just pure offensive.
Yeah, the only concern I
I thought
have is like, sorry, go ahead.
PK Subban was more offensively. He's
He
a
could
two-way?
no, he could play defense too, but Barry can't play defense for shit. And we knew that at least he can play defense for shit against. He can't break up the cycle like PK Subban can. He gets body all the time by forwards, and we recognize that firsthand with the Leafs too.
Yeah, but you just can't be biased against Barry just
Nah,
because like
I'm
he's
not
playing with
being
McDavid.
biased. I'm
Like
not being
he's
I'm not.
having a good season.
Yeah, I understand he's having a good season, but you said he should be a Norris Trophy, did you not?
Yeah, he should be.
He
I'm
shouldn't
not gonna
be
go
in the
back on my
Norris
word. He
Trophy,
should be.
guy. He shouldn't be in the Norris Trophy. He's not meant to be a Norris Trophy candidate. He's just leading the points. He's not a two-way defenseman.
Okay, but
The
Then what if?
discarding
Okay, no, okay.
most of the time.
Potentially.
yeah, most of the
Yeah, I
time.
agree with Harmon. No, I'm not saying he should
Wait,
win the
wait.
trophy. All right, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, no. I'm not saying he shouldn't win it. I'm saying he should be a candidate. I'm not
No,
saying
I
he should
agree.
win it.
That's what I'm saying.
I
I
don't
agree
I
with
don't
you,
Yeah,
agree at
Harmon.
all. I don't
I
agree
agree
at
with you,
all.
Harmon.
I don't agree at all. To be honest with you guys,
Okay, no. Okay. Perhaps
it's not least
he's at
bias.
the
I'm just
top.
saying.
By the end of the season, he's at the top of the what do you call it, standings for like all of the defensemen that are in the NHL, and he has the most points. You're still not gonna say he's a Norris Trophy candidate? Tell
Probably
me now.
top five, but you don't nominate a top three defenseman. You see, you still gotta get by like Jeff Petrie, who's underrated, Charlie McAvoy, who's better than him, Victor Hedman, who's better, John Klingberg, Mio Heiskanen. These guys are all better than him. You guys gotta think of those too. You guys just can't think of points wise. I understand they win all points, but like it's not all points. You gotta be able to play defense. Defense is called defense for a reason.
Carlson couldn't play defense.
Carlson could play defense. Why do you think he was?
Quinn Hughes can't play defense.
Yeah, but Quinn Hughes.
So is Quinn Hughes a
He more
candidate?
he,
No,
he,
no,
no no no
He's
he-
a
no
Norris
no no
candidate.
he's
No,
more
no, no, no,
he's
no,
more
no, no.
electric.
Carl-
I don't care. Is Quinn Hughes a defensive candidate or Norris
Ty-
candidate?
no, he isn't. Not as of
Yes
now.
or no?
No, he's not.
No,
No,
not
he's
as of
not.
now.
No?
Not
Okay,
as
then
of
you're
now.
wrong. You're
Okay.
wrong. He's a Norris candidate this year. Easy.
Like I don't
And
Exactly.
it's not about
No,
what
man,
you think.
no,
Okay,
no,
just
no,
fine. What
I'm
you're
not-
saying is
I'm not
your
saying I'm
definition.
right. I'm not
Okay, but
saying I'm right.
listen. Let me finish. What you're saying is the Norris Trophy should go to the best all-round defender.
Yeah.
We know that's not how it works.
Yeah,
So that's
but
not what we're saying.
how- no,
We're
but
not
how-
saying I'm not saying for me. Every single year, Victor Hedman should win the Norris. I don't care if he has 10 points or 40 or 50 points. He's the best defender overall. But that's not how the Norris Trophy works, and that's not what I'm basing it on. I'm not basing it on who I think is the best defender.
Hold on.
Me and Harmon are saying who we think the league is going to give the Norris Trophy to. Who we think the league is going to nominate for the Norris Trophy.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
And by the
that's what I'm
league
trying to
standards,
imply.
Tyson Berry it fits that criteria. That's what we're saying. We're not saying Tyson Berry is a Norris type of defenseman.
Like he's
I
gonna
will
win it
never say
all.
that, bro.
I'm not saying he's
But, like-
yeah. He,
Like, would you
he's
say
a candidate.
Riley's a Norris candidate?
No.
The year Riley was a Norris candidate, would you say he's a Norris candidate that year?
When he was like his,
He had 70 points or something.
Exactly.
I don't I
Exactly.
didn't
Like that? He
believe
was a
in
Norris
Norris
candidate, but
He
he was
was.
a Norris candidate.
He was, but
He was
And-
though.
no, but
Quinn
but
Hughes
the-
will be a Norris candidate this
Yeah,
year.
but the thing is, his stats are inflated. You gotta think of that too. He's playing
Well,
a
the
McDavid.
NHL doesn't
No,
give a shit.
yeah, but I'm just saying, what is primary points? How much primary points is he getting? How much secondary points? How much power play points is he
Just
getting?
But you're
I think
going-
you're
from-
misunderstanding.
from-
Hold on.
You're
I think
going
you're
in depth.
misunderstanding
You're
me
going
I'm
in
going in
depth.
depth. That's what the
So listen.
reward should be. You have to
Okay.
go in depth.
We get
But
that,
They're
but
not
listen,
gonna do
listen,
that.
Listen, they're not gonna do exactly what Harmon said. They're not gonna do that. You're thinking we're saying Tyson Berry is like one of the best defensemen in the NHL. He's not. Tyson Berry sucks defensively. All he can do is rip it on the power play, and I totally agree. I totally agree that a lot of his points are inflated because he's playing next to McDavid. But the point here is he under the criteria for the NHL to nominate him for a Norris candidate trophy? Yes, that's the point. It doesn't matter what I think. In my
That's
opinion,
like
he
saying-
should not be in the Norris candidate race. But based on the criteria of past Norris winners, he will be a candidate.
Okay, I'll read out the Norris Trophy. So last year Roman Yossi won it. The other year Mark Giordano won. 2018 Victor Hedman won. 2017 Ben Burns won. 2016 Drew Doughty. Eric Carlson 2015. Duncan Keith 2014. PK Subban 2013. Eric Carlson 2012. Nicholas System 2011. 2010 Duncan Keith. So tell me how much of the defensemen were leading in points.
Bro, we never said that he's gonna win it.
Now I'm not saying
No,
saying
but
he's
you
not-
just listed all the winners. So
Yeah.
of course, we're not comparing him to the winners. There's no way he's gonna touch Victor Hedman's level. We're saying he's a candidate. That's
Exactly.
all we're saying, bro.
he's a
We're
candidate.
saying
but-
that he's a candidate.
Yeah, but top 7 candidate, but not top 5 or top 3. Like he's not gonna be nominated for it.
Okay, but then you're not understanding. If he tops all the defensemen, he is gonna be a top 5 candidate.
He's not gonna be nominated for a trophy.
Is he
though.
not? Is he
He's
not?
He's not
Is
gonna
he
be
not?
nominated. He's not gonna be nominated for a trophy though.
So, all we're saying is he's a top 5 candidate for the Norris.
Okay, he's a top 5, but he's not gonna be nominated. That's what Harmon's saying. He's gonna be nominated. That's all I gotta. That's all I said. He's not
I
gonna be
think he
nominated.
will be nominated.
He's not gonna be top 3 nominated. He's gonna be top 5 for sure, but not top 3 nominated. And you see that with the bias too, cause
Hello,
he's
Mike
playing-
Green.
when was Mike Green nominated?
Mike Green can't back when he played on Detroit, but he was not good defensively. He was a pure offensive defenseman back then too.
When he was
And he
playing
was
with
nominated.
Washington, when he was playing
Or
Washington,
Washington,
right?
sure, but he was pure offensive there. Eric Carlson was not good defensively, bro.
He was
straight up,
decent.
he sucked defensively.
He's decent.
And you can ask any Ottawa fan. We will ask Michael. Eric Carlson sucked. He had Mark Mathot. I think Mark Mathot played next to him.
Yeah, he did.
And Mark Mathot was a stud defensively for him.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Eric Carlson did not play good defense. Quinn Hughes is going to
And
be
wasn't PK Subban? Wasn't PK Subban more offense too?
No,
I swear
man.
he
He
was.
wasn't that good,
I think he's
defensively
better
either.
defensively.
Yeah,
than
he's better
Gary,
defensively than all
but he's
those
not
two,
good defensively.
Mm.
Eric Carlson is not good defensively. Quinn Hughes is
Oh.
going to be a Norris candidate for the rest of his career. He's not good defensively. He probably will never be at the defensive level you want Norris candidates to be. So all we're saying is he has the possibility to be nominated. If he finishes number 1 in scoring, there's
He's
a
definitely
really
gonna
good
be.
chance he's going to be nominated.
That's an idiot
Yeah.
move by the voters, to be honest.
That's fine, bro.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But they-
I
I
believe
agree.
the
I
idea.
agree with you.
That's an
I
idiot
don't think he
voting.
should be, In my
Yeah,
opinion,
but
like
that's the
Norris Trophy
reality.
should go to the best all-round defender.
Yeah,
But that's not what happens, bro.
it does it. I know. I believe that's true, but the NHL needs to fucking step it up because they're not. I'm being serious. You know, fucking step it up because they need to get into
Hey,
analytics of it.
all the
Like,
little kids need to close their ears, guys.
yeah.
This parents dropping too many f-bombs out here.
Yeah, cause they need to fucking step the game up, cause this shit's not acceptable anymore. Fucking like having these top point defensemen. I don't give a shit. Watch the fucking game, then vote. Don't vote for fucking points. It makes no fucking sense.
But yo, why are you gonna argue against the way it is, bro? Like
Yeah,
that's the
but
way
you
it
gotta
is.
change
Bro, look at the
sometime,
Hart
bro.
Trophy. The Hart Trophy was the same. Last year, Nathan McKinnon should have won the Hart Trophy,
Yeah,
but he didn't.
yeah. It's
Draisaitl won it
stupid.
because he had the most points.
It's fucking
that-
stupid.
It doesn't
Fucking
matter.
Exactly.
vote on it by freaking
That's-
watch the
that's what I'm
fucking
trying to-
games,
But
guy.
like, no, just Karan, you need to
That's what I'm
stop
trying to
putting so
prove.
much value into these trophies. That's what you need
Yeah.
to do. You're
No,
putting too
but-
much value in these trophies, and you're getting mad that they don't put them the right way. Who cares, man?
Okay,
Okay.
let's just no. Let's just
You really think Victor Hedman is gonna cry because he didn't get nominated for the Norris Trophy? No,
I just give a shit. Want a cup?
they all want to win, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that big of a
Yeah.
deal.
No, I'm just saying like if let's look at the NBA. Let's say if Giannis let's say LeBron has a triple double season. Like, he has 30 points a game, 10 rebounds, 10 thing, and Giannis scores 35 points and he gets the MVP. Would that not piss you off?
But that happens. LeBron should have won like 10 MVPs in his career.
Yeah,
They just didn't give it to him
Yeah.
because of politics.
yeah, because politics is fucking stupid.
yeah. So like that's part of the sport, bro. You just have to accept it. Like,
Yeah, but I'm just saying for
Yeah.
I think
for
was
the-
it not last year, the year before, James Harden had like one of the craziest like offensive seasons, and they didn't give it to him. But that was a case where his offensive season was historic. It's like if a defender went and scored 110 points in a season, it doesn't matter how shit he is defensively. He's the Norris candidate because he's doing something historic, right?
Yeah, like
So,
Paul.
there's
I
a
can
season
say like Paul.
in the
Paul
NBA
yeah.
where James Harden was ridiculous offensively. Like, it was unreal, and it was between him and Giannis, and they gave it to Giannis because they want Giannis to be this emerging star.
Yeah.
But like, it is what it is, man. Like, you can't be mad about
I
these
know,
things.
man, but it pisses me off because like you gotta.
You're letting Gary Bettman live in your head rent free.
Yeah, man. but the idiot. No, it's not
Gary Bettman is like, he has a little bed in your head, bro. He sleeps there every night. He reads his little book and stuff. It's all in your head, bro.
No. It's the fact that the idiot voters don't watch the game. Like, at least watch the game or like have like some sort of analytics. Don't be a fucking old school bitch and not look at analytics also. Like, understand the game, then vote. Like, I don't understand these voters rules in some scenarios.
Yo, Harmon, do you think Luke Shen should be nominated for the Norris?
Bro, 100%, yo. That's not even like a question, bro.
I think JVR and Bozak should be nominated.
Nominated for the Hart Trophy, right?
Yeah, and I think Lou should win GM of
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah, do what you want. That
And I want Babcock to come and coach Buffalo and then win the Jack Adams.
Oh, no.
You guys are fucking
No, it's
joking.
like, to be honest, I think Babcock deserves it this season, bro.
Yeah, he torments players left and right, so he should deserve it.
That was so funny. Oh my god, just crying. You cracked me up, bro.
Don't worry, I got a lot more up my sleeve too.
I think you just
podcast.
misunderstood what we were saying, bro.
Yeah, I
like-
think I misunderstood what you guys are saying, but
Like, we're saying Norris candidate in the terms of who wins the Norris like who is a Norris candidate based on the NHL.
Oh, did you end the
Yeah,
podcast?
no. It's still
No,
going
it's
on.
still going. Still.
Oh,
It's just funny though.
Uh,
Like,
Okay.
if we talk about legit Norris, like who is the best defender, there's no way Tyson Berry's nominated.
Yeah,
No.
that's all I'm saying. 'Cause-
exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's like Patrice Bergeron not winning the freaking Sulky, right? Like, how can they not give it to him?
There's better. I'm not gonna say it. There's better two-way forwards than Bergeron.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
Whatever, man.
It's all
I'm
subjective.
I'm
done
the-
having this convo. It's over.
All right, we should probably
The
wrap
awards
this
are
up too,
biased.
though.
You can't.
I'm not gonna be biased. I'm just saying based on my
No,
my.
I'm saying the awards are biased. They're always gonna choose.
I thought you said I'm biased. That's what.
No, we're saying
No.
they are biased.
No,
So
no.
why are you fighting against it? Just let them be biased. It's not gonna change.
That's what we're trying to prove to you.
Oh, okay.
You're just
Whatever.
stressing yourself out, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's wrap up. Let's talk a little bit of the upcoming schedule, yo, and then we'll
Yeah.
wrap it up. So what do we got? We
Ottawa.
got the Oilers
We
and we
got
got
Senators.
the Sens. Man, like, what do you guys want from these games? I think we need to go on a winning streak, man. Like, cause right now we're tied with looks like we're tied with Edmonton, and we only got 24 games left in the season.
Yeah, and the division are
We
tight.
need
So
we need Matthews to step it up, man. Like I don't know, he hasn't been looking sharp, but like we need him to start like like producing.
okay, he's finally got his rest better. So I'm pretty sure he might just explore
Yeah,
one game or another. But
I think this rest was good for him because he had
yeah,
like the what like 5 6 days after the Jets series, and
yeah,
then after the Jets and the Ottawa, and now he has another like 4 days off after this Calgary series. So I think Thursday comes like there's no way in the next 3 games he doesn't pot 1 to 2 goals. There's no way,
yeah,
especially against the Oilers. He always shows up against the Oilers.
and you see he's shooting it more. Like
Yeah,
he's
he's
not
not scared to take the
yeah he's
shot
not
now.
scared shot anymore. He's just freaking ripping it. Like
No, I know he's gonna come back. He's gonna go on a streak. He's gonna claim that Rocket Richard, man. It's his this year.
Yeah,
yeah
that's what we need, man.
Hey, but
That's what we
hey, but
need.
I think Ovechkin is the best pure goal scorer. I think he should win the Rocket, bro. It doesn't matter who has the most goals.
the Rockets based on that's
No, bro. My opinion, the Rocket is the best goal scorer. Patrick Laine, bro.
no man what the fuck man.
I'm just fucking.
I don't
I'm just fucking with you.
I
I'm
know
just fucking
man
with
you
you.
are. I know man I know.
Oh man, but yo, it's gonna be sick because yo, there's 3 weeks left till trade deadline. 24 games left in the season. I think the season's just gonna get crazier and crazier.
Yeah,
Like especially after trade deadline, there's probably gonna be only what like 12, 15 games left. So that's gonna be the most important stretch. I think it's the stretch after trade deadline because that's where you want to really figure out who your team is as a system, right? Because
yeah.
with every game, we're getting closer and closer to playoffs, and there's no more room for this figuring out goaltending, figuring out this and that. But it's gonna be a crazy couple of weeks, boys.
Yeah, the division is really tight too, so I'm not sure like what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they need to like go on a winning streak now. Like now is the time to
Yeah,
step up.
they need to create some space between first and second because they had such a nice like cushion and they blew it, and now they're pretty close to like the Jets and the Oilers. They got a little bit of room on the Canadians and Canucks and stuff. The Canucks are actually doing good now. They're at 500, so it's looking scary, man. Like there is a possibility the Leafs don't make the playoffs. Like the Flames are only 9 points behind them, and they're sixth in their division. So it's now or never, man.
Like we can't be chasing games like too often, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to secure the lead like right away.
That's
That's
why
what like I'm
no,
seeing now.
that's why you get out to a hot start so you can have that cushion. Like you lost six out of last seven. How much team can lose the last six out of seven and still be in tied in first place, right? So you have those skids and then you overcome those skids and you get better and better and better, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. Like it's a learning experience. These days off are
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
make a huge difference. Everyone's gonna come back healthy. I think we'll see the
And
Leafs from the beginning of the season again now. Like I don't think we're gonna see that Leafs from the last 7 games going forward. Maybe there might be a couple blips here and there, but I think for the majority of the rest of the season, we're gonna see the dominant Leafs again. I mean, I hope so though.
yeah, yeah, you got Simmons back and then you get like hopefully Galchenyuk can, like kind of prove that he can be on the second line or third line or
Hopefully we get
whatever,
a.
but we'll
Hopefully we
see.
trade for Tyson Berry, Norris candidate.
Yeah,
I think that's
Yo,
our
that'd
trade.
be sick, yo.
Yeah.
Traded Lilligren for Tyson Berry.
That'd be crazy,
Imagine,
bro. That's like the
imagine.
blockbuster trade.
That's just Karin's worst nightmare right there.
Nah, we've had enough for Tyson Berry to be honest with you. We've had enough
All right,
for Tyson
let's
Berry.
wrap it up then, guys. That was a good podcast. We'll probably come back after this. I think the Oilers are Saturday, Monday, or something like that. So I think Friday might be too soon because there's only one game between now and then. So we'll probably come after like one or either the first or second Oilers game. Yeah, hopefully we come back. We're happy. We're in a good mood. Maybe there's a trade. Hopefully there's a 3-0 sweep of these teams. And we'll see you guys next time. Make sure to like our podcast, subscribe wherever you listen, and share it to your friends too if you guys like it. Let's try to grow this thing. See you guys.